Yeah, we were toning down there. I didn't realize before you knew it, it was she was watching the time and I wasn't even watching it. I was so into what she was saying. So this hopefully she jumps back on and we could wind down the conversation. Oh, my eye is tearing up, guys. I don't know what it is, but oh, there she is. Perfect. Wonderful. Okay. Hey. Sorry, you were watching the time very well, but I wasn't
See,
even
it's
watching
like, because
the
it's that
screen.
planner in me. It's that planner.
Okay, so I'll let you finish up. What were you talking about now?
Yeah, so you were
Planning.
asking me, I was saying it's a big question for the time that we have, but the big thing is really, I would say, writing things down. And my motto is if it doesn't get written down, it's like it never happened. And I have a client who we created like this whole strategic plan for her to around getting her book done. And then we had an accountability call the next week and she didn't do her homework. And I'm like, okay, well, what happened? Right. And she was like, oh, I completely forgot I had an exam. And I'm like, but did you have it written down? She's like, no, right? So we don't realize the simplicity of writing down literally everything. Everything gets written down so that if I do flip to a day or you do flip to a day, it's not a lot of times we plan in compartments. But I have a master plan or blueprint, I call it, that has like everything on it. And then, of course, like I live day to day by what's in my phone, but every month and every quarter, I update my phone from the master plan. So it's not only what's going on in my world, it's what's going on in my husband's world, it's what's going on in my kids' world. It has my church's calendar, it has things that I want to attend. Like, for example, somebody asked me to do online training next Sunday, but I'm like, oh, I signed up to do Brunch and Beauty is having an event, and I'm like, yay, I get to attend. And but it's in there, so I can see that. And so a lot of times we plan in compartments and we don't see how all the areas of our lives overlap. It may even be something as simple as a birthday, like, oh my gosh, I said yes to somebody and I forgot that it's so and so's birth. Our anniversary is in my calendar. Like
Yeah,
everything gets written down. And
yeah.
so I think I shared with you last time a little bit about how I ended up in emergency with basically like a ghost heart attack because
Hmm.
of all the stress that I was under. And God
Yeah.
took me through this process of teaching me that it wasn't that I had too much to do, I wasn't being a good steward of my time. And I found that
Right.
when I became a fierce planner, that I realized I could actually do more. And it didn't feel, it no longer felt like, we often say, oh, there should be more hours in a day. It's almost
Right.
insulting. Like God didn't know what he was doing when he put the world together. Like no, no, no. 24 hours, you good. You're just not spending it right. And
Right.
so, yeah, like I just developed a whole planning system that really helps me to, again, with a family of seven, a household of seven, a business, ministry, you can't not be organized. You just can't.
For
You
sure,
just
for
can't.
sure. Yes,
Yeah.
calendars, I have a day runner too, and I have everything pretty much organized, but
Mhm.
I find writing things down too helps you bring things to life as
Yes,
well. Like,
absolutely.
yeah,
And a big thing
yeah,
that I teach in the session too is not just, I always say the tools are whatever. People are always like, which planner do you use? Like, it's nothing special. You can really just print one out from Microsoft Office if you want to. But a big part of what I teach is not so much the tools, but what are the habits and routines that you now need to put into your life so that you use the tools effectively. Because tons of people are like, I have a daytime, I write everything down, and you don't ever check it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how did you miss this coaching session? Oh, I didn't check it. Like,
yeah,
so it's also what habits, what routines, and it's called a purpose-driven calendar planning session because it also includes not just the habits and the routines, but what are the checkers that you need to have in place to start to decide what you say no to in your life, so that you are spending your time where it matters and how it matters.
true, very, very true.
Mhm.
So, what keeps you motivated?
What keeps me motivated? What keeps me motivated is my desire to, I know this is going to sound cliche, but it's the truth. My desire to die empty, and or I should say my fear to die of dying full, and my desire to hear God say, well done. Well done, thou good and faith. I want to hear Daddy say, good job, honey. Good job. I gave you these abilities. Good. You worked that, girl. You talked a little too much, but you worked that talking gift, child. Like, I want to hear Daddy say, well done. And I don't want at my funeral people to say, you know, she was so smart. There's so much she could have done. Like, I don't want none of that talk at my funeral. Like, I want to be like completely empty when it's time to go home. Yeah. And I want to hear my daddy say good job.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So is there like a motivational quote that you kind of go by, or even something that kind of helps you to keep on moving on a day-to-day?
There isn't a motivational quote, but there's something that I saw that like it's never left me. And it's actually from Bob Marley. So I was watching a documentary, can't remember what it's called, on Bob Marley. And it was actually on, they were talking about when he was Bob Marley and the Wailers, right? And I remember he said, you know, we were doing really well and our music was taking traction and they were getting, you know, gigs all over the place. And they were asked to perform at a really big musical venue, but they were asked to open for another headliner. And so the members of the Wailers were like, we shouldn't be opening. We should be the, like, you know, like kind of like, do they know who we are kind of thing? Like, we should be the headliners. You're asking us to open. And so that was kind of where I was going to say their ministry. But that's where their career, like the group kind of split, because they're like, we're not doing it, right? Like, these people need to see us for who we are. And I remember Bob Marley said, and we talk about what this never has left me. He said, my music is like, I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said like that he saw his music as a calling and that he felt like he had a message for the whole world through his music. And he's like, I don't care if I'm first, in the middle, or at the end. I just want to share the message with the world. And it was that performance that catapulted his reggae music career. And then we just never heard. I think when they went to Jamaica, one of the Wailers were living in a shanty shack somewhere in country. And we know the legacy that Bob Marley has left behind. And it was all because of that, like, to me, that humility of saying, like, I don't care. I don't care if you make me the headliner. I don't care. I have something that I have to share. And that has never left me. And that encourages me to just stay humble and to just keep at it. Like, I don't care. I don't care what they call me. I don't care what, I know God's given me something. Like, I know he's put something inside of me. I know now that when I speak, that God uses my word to prick and to change hearts and to touch people and there's an anointing on my voice when I speak. I know that now. I don't care. Like, before I used to trip, like, what people call me or what titles or, you know, respect and who's giving you your what. I have I have something to say. There's this little girl that I used to teach in Sunday school, and she used to go, excuse me, every 30 seconds, excuse me, I have something to say. And till this day, I feel I've embodied that little girl. Excuse me. You know, I have something to say. God has given me something to say. And so, yeah, I don't have a quote per se or whatever, but when I watched that, like, chills went through my body, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, what a way to live your life, you know?
Sure, for sure. So tell the audience where we can keep in touch and how to find you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, outside of all of the events and things like that, I am a coach. So I'm always coaching services, and my monthly accountability mentorship services are always ongoing. And so my name is Nicole O Salmon, and you can find me using my name across all platforms. The website is www.nicoleosalmon, salmon spelled like the fish. No H in Nicole, Caribbean people. No H in the Nicole. .com is my website, but on Insta, right here on Instagram, you can Facebook, anywhere that you plug in Nicole O Salmon, you'll find me. But like I said, if you join my mail list by clicking on the link in my bio, it's always the best way to and DMs. I'm super informal. Like if you hit me up in my DMs, I'm happy to point you to what you need or where to go. And I'm also very happy if it's not me. I realize I'm not for everyone, but if I'm perhaps your starting point, I'm also happy to. I belong to a healthy network of other amazing women doing amazing things across the globe, and I'd be happy to help to point you, hopefully in the right direction.
Yes, Nicole, you are definitely a blessing. I just want to
Oh,
thank you
thank
again
you.
for dropping all that information down on us. You always do. I want to thank you for coming back on the show. You're always welcome to come and share your knowledge with
Anytime,
us.
anytime,
Okay, so
anytime.
very, very grateful. I wish you all the best, and I'm
You.
definitely going to join your mailing list because I don't think I'm on it. So I
Yeah.
definitely have to
I love your
click
hair.
over.
Sorry, I just distract real
Oh,
easily. This is
thank
the
you.
first time I've ever seen your hair.
Really? It's
Yeah.
growing. It's growing.
How
It's getting
long?
there. I'd say almost 3 years.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah?
Tomorrow's I go for a tightening.
Yeah. What do you do? Do you do
Um,
the crochet?
yeah, the sister locks.
Yeah, the sister locks.
Yeah.
Does the crochet hurt? No?
Not
I'm
to me.
scared.
Yeah, no, but I love like my loctician. She has palm roll locks, and now I'm like,
Okay.
I was actually going to talk to her tomorrow about switching
Yeah?
and what the
Yeah.
benefits
'Cause
are
I've
to.
tried it myself. I haven't gone to the hairdresser yet.
Yeah.
I need to get to a hairdresser to get that good deep wash, you know? I feel
Yes.
like I want that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm coloring tomorrow. Like normally, like you can't even see the color anymore. It's not normally like that's when I know it's really grown because every year I go once for color and I start my blonde from about here and you
Mm.
can't see any like they're just little like on the tips, little blonde tips. So tomorrow I go for that deep wash, I go for that color. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
locked up for life. It's this, and then the next step is I'm just gonna like probably like in my 60s or my 70s. If God lives life, I'm gonna just shave it off.
Yeah.
I don't know how
That's the
that'll go over in the
easiest.
pulpit, but
Yeah.
that's 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 the direction I'm going in. So the church needs to get
Yeah.
ready for that. For a bald
Well, you
female
already
priest.
put it out there.
I put it out
You
there. I
already
put it
put
out.
it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you again for coming on,
Oh,
and we'll
you're
definitely be in
welcome.
touch.
Yes,
Yes, we will be
absolutely.
in touch.
We'll talk soon.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. You have yourself
Have
a
a
good
good night.
evening, okay?
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, Nicole is always a blessing. She is always, always, always a blessing on the show. Um, you're in between hairs as well. I'm telling you, like, honestly, I started my hair 3 years ago. It's been a journey, but I can't complain. I can't complain about it at all. What I really need is to find a loctician, somebody that I can go to so that I can get my hair done properly and a nice deep wash. There's nothing like going to the hairdresser and getting that nice deep wash, falling asleep under the dryer. You know what I mean? Like, I miss that. I miss it. But oh my gosh, Nicole is always bringing that juice. She's always dropping gems on us. She is always just coming through with the right conversation, the right conversation. So again, I just want to thank her, and I want to thank you all for joining the conversation because this is what we need to talk about. We need to talk about sisterhood. We need to talk about faith, challenges, overcoming our challenges, and then stepping into our greatness. She talked about how you just need to go with the flow. Just get in there. and believe in the faith that God has put you here to realize those deep inner things that are within yourself that you can do. You know what I mean? There's something inside of you that's burning. There's a fire. You are here for a purpose, and you've got to step into your greatness, because there is greatness in you, right? And everybody needs to see it. You have something to bring to the table. She's just like that little girl. Hi, I have something to say. Everybody's got something to say. Everybody has a reason that they are here right now. If you woke up, if you're still walking around, you're still breathing, your heart's still pumping, there is purpose on your life. And Nicole she just, let us understand that we need to have faith and trust in the Lord. And at the beginning of the conversation, if you missed it, you got to go back and listen to the replay. But she's talking about the negative conversation that sometimes can plague us in our minds and put in that doubt and that naysaying. Can be our own worst enemy. We need to just stop, take some time, and cut down those strongholds one by one, and then go for it. I call this blindly falling into the Lord's hands. He will never let you fall. He will never let you drop. He is always there to catch you, right? So it's really, really important that we remember that. Thank you guys so much for joining. Lady O and everybody on the chat today, thank you so much for the interaction. It was wonderful. And yeah, if you guys know of any good locticians that could hook me up with, a nice wash and ting, let me know. Send me a DM. All right. Otherwise, you guys have a great evening. I will see you next week, same time, same place.